Welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show, ladies and gentlemen. And joining me now is one of my favorite guests, Roger Stone, political consultant and strategist, and of course a man who was instrumental in the elections of three presidents that I know of, President Reagan and President H.W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, and of course Richard Nixon before them. And he is the author of the foreword to the Benghazi Report, the Senate report, a year's worth of research and investigation and testimony into the Benghazi terrorist attacks. And Roger wrote the summary for that report. And great to see you.
Great to be with you, Steve.
Well, always great to have you here. And I love the suit.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you didn't have the hat, but I love the suit. And of course, you can read Roger at stonezone.com every day. All right, so the Benghazi Report. Explain to the folks exactly what it is.
This is a bipartisan report by the Senate Intelligence Committee, and it is must reading. I really republished this report with kind of a guide as the foreword because it disproves all of the Obama-Clinton administration lies about what really happened in Benghazi. We know that the Senate, we know that ignored it was denied. We know that the CIA got the same intelligence reports about the dangerous increase in terrorist activity in this part of Libya. They beefed up their security. And then a total and complete lie. So I don't want this report, this bipartisan report, to disappear without a trace. It is vital that any American who's thinking about Hillary Clinton being president needs to read this report.
Well, of course, you know, the left and the media will tell you that this is done just like the IRS investigation is over and done. But the fact is, you know, we have the family members. If the country as a whole isn't upset that an ambassador and three brave Americans were killed, the family members, one of whom we've had on, the mother of one of them we had on this show, and she says Hillary Clinton killed my son. We had the father of one of those brave men killed, who said that Hillary shook his hand and with stone cold eyes looked into his, no pun intended, looked into his face and said, "We're going to get the guy who made that video." And the mother, the father, they've never heard boo from Hillary or anybody since about what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and it's outrageous.
Well, this report is a stunning indictment. It doesn't criticize the CIA other than on some information sharing issues or defense intelligence. All the criticisms in this report are at the State Department, and that's Hillary's bailiwick. And of course, her famous quote was, "What difference does it make?" Well, that was in response to a question directly saying, well, was this a terrorist attack?
Right.
Or was this about some Islamic video? And her response, rather than answering the question, is, what difference does it make? It makes a huge difference. And frankly, I think the families of those who died will give effective testimony if she runs for president, because you can never let Hillary be the victim.
Right.
Don't engage Roger Stone or Steve Malzberg.
Right.
Engage Tyrone Wood's father.
Absolutely.
Engage him. Or we get to the larger questions. Engage Juanita Broderick, or engage Kathy Willie. I mean, I do think that everything about the Clintons will be re-examined if she runs, now, including Benghazi.
Now, this report, it directly goes against that cockamamie report from the New York Times, who basically, after all the time had passed and all the notions of the video had been dispelled and accepted that they had been dispelled, here comes the New York Times saying, "Oh no, there was a video, and oh yeah, this was an offshoot of the protest." And I mean, they just regurgitated the original administration lies.
Yeah, it was an incredibly slanted and partisan article, and they even criticized their own previous reporting. So David Kirkpatrick reported that there was a huge increase in terrorist activity in northeast Libya prior to his New York one-page story. So he in essence contradicts himself, but more importantly, he said, well, there was a demonstration sparked by the video at the Cairo embassy, which was a precursor to the attack on our mission in Benghazi, when in truth, the demonstration in Cairo against the U.S. Embassy had to do with the blind sheik. Yeah. We can see the videos. It had nothing to do with a phony, non-existent anti-Islamic video. So, look, Hillary lied. Americans died, and that's what people cannot forget.
Now, do you foresee a scenario in 2016 presidential commercials, whoever the Republican nominee is or some other group putting it out, where you got the Hillary, the commercial she made in 2008, where I could take the 3 o'clock call, blah, blah, and then on the other hand, you got to say, what difference does it make? I mean, are those going to run juxtaposed to each other?
I think that's a very interesting concept, but I'd like to see the families of the people who died.
In addition, sure.
I think that because they're the real victims.
Absolutely.
If you let Bill and Hillary play the victim, it's what they do best. You can't raise any questions about her because you're attacking women. That's absurd.
Oh, well, that's going to come. Like Obama black,
they've already
Hillary
started.
woman.
They've
No,
already started
absolutely. That. And remember Rick Lazio, when he ran for the Senate in New York against Hillary, and he dared to walk across the stage during a debate and hand her a piece of paper. Oh, he invaded the space of a woman.
It was menacing.
Yeah, menacing to a woman.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, okay. All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on. Because, you know, you were so instrumental in those 3 presidential campaigns. You saw CPAC. It ran the political spectrum of republicanism, if you will, from the Chris Christies of the world to the Ted Cruzes of the world. I don't know how much the straw poll means because people in attendance, but who did themselves the most good, do you think?
I do think Senator Rand Paul did himself some good. I don't understand why Ted Cruz would attack Rand Paul. I don't think that's productive in terms of winning in 2016. Chris Christie, as far as I'm concerned, is toast as a presidential candidate. I think it remains to be seen whether he survives as governor.
Right.
I find it troublesome that his aides are still stonewalling, are still refusing to
No pun intended again.
Right. They're still refusing to turn over documents, still refusing to submit to subpoenas. So the air can never be cleared,
right,
as long as some are refusing to come forward and say what they know. And therefore, I don't even count him at this juncture. I don't see a winner yet. I like Scott Walker as a dark horse. I do think we have some talent in the party, but in a strange sense, it's very early. Oh, sure. And I have no horse, okay. I must tell you.
Big election in Florida last night. Big congressional
victory.
Race, big victory. Of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz down.
Backpedaling.
Yeah. Well, she said that it was no big deal. It was disappointing for the Republicans, but nonetheless, Bill Clinton campaigned there for the Democratic candidate. Joe Biden came down and campaigned for the Democratic candidate. He made it all about. Jolly made it all about health care. And in a district that Obama won in 08 and 012, they did not pick up.
What is to come. So that was all spin. Their candidate ran for governor 4 years ago. She was much better known. She was adequately financed. Our candidate
4-1, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
Our candidate was a staff guy for the late Bill Young. No public profile. By the way, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, I think, played a vital role here politically in terms of putting him across. But it was a big victory. And right now, if I were Nancy Pelosi, I would really be sweating.
Yeah, well, of course, I mean, there's nobody predicting with any kind of gravitas that they're going to pick up seats in the House or close the gap or take over the House, except Wasserman Schultz and Nancy Pelosi. Right. Let me ask you about a little local here to New York. De Blasio and charter schools, and de Blasio and the snowstorms, and de Blasio and the letting the preacher go, we call the precinct, when he was arrested, and de Blasio running the red lights and the stop signs. You think the voters, the few who showed up, 20% of New Yorkers came to vote that day for mayor, you think any of them are having buyer's remorse?
Yes, I really do. First of all, I refer to him as Comrade de Blasio.
Yes. Well, is that even his name? I mean, it is now, but it wasn't. Didn't used to be.
Sometimes I call him Bumbling Bill. No, I've never thought he was qualified to be mayor. He thinks that the people love him, and he was elected in a landslide because it's him. He was the anti-Bloomberg. It had very little to do with him. Once Weiner collapsed and Quinn became unacceptable because she was too closely tied to the previous administration, he was like the last guy left standing. But he thinks it's about him. So I think you have an ego that's out of control. And then when you see the liberal elitist phenomenon, rules are for little people.
Right.
Speeding, jaywalking, springing my buddy from jail.
Right.
You know, the rules are for little people, not for us political elites.
And the people who voted for him, the charter schools, he's screwing them, and they're minority people, and they can't understand what's going on.
I say Eva Moskowitz for mayor. She's doing a tremendous job of demonstrating that his interest is in protecting lousy education and the teachers union. It's not about the quality of public education.
Couldn't agree more. Roger, great to see you, my friend.
Great
Thank
to
you.
be with you.
Congratulations on getting the truth out there and writing this.
Happy to be here.
Okay, it's the Benghazi Report, ladies and gentlemen. Check it out. And check out stonezone.com as well. When we come back, our friend Louis Gohmert, congressman from the great state of Texas, will be here. So don't you dare turn away. You're watching the Steve Malzberg Show every Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern on Newsmax Television.